Hello. Welcome. The story we are going to tell you today happened more than 40 years ago in the state of Mississippi. My name is Jennifer, and I'm going to tell you the story of when I lost the love of my life. I almost don't usually talk about this with other people because many people think my story is a lie. But I can tell you that it's true. Both I and our family know what happened. We know the truth, but we can't do anything about it. I will tell in details. Me and my first husband Michael, we met in childhood. We were neighbors, our parents were friends, so we started to have contact and develop a friendship from an early age. We also attended the same school. As time went on, I grew to like Michael beyond friendship, and he in turn began to reciprocate. We then developed a relationship, taking its steps slowly and over time until our childhood reached the doors of adolescence. We started dating. Our parents were super supportive. For me and for him, it was a dream to live all that love. Soon we started planning our lives, making our plans. I dreamed of going to law school, and Michael dreamed of becoming a doctor. Our relationship remained steady and strong through high school. Even with teenage problems, we never broke up. For me, it was a dream love. And for Michael too. When we finished high school and were thinking about the colleges we were going to pursue, I ended up getting pregnant unexpectedly. This caused us to delay our plans. Michael had to look for a job to reconcile with his studies, and with the help of our parents, we got a house to start our lives. We didn't stop dreaming for a moment, even with the difficulties of the moment. The house we got was simple, but it was the beginning of a dream, which came sooner than expected. My now husband Michael was completely happy and excited about the idea of becoming a father. After all, it had always been his dream. Michael worked to maintain his house, and his parents paid for his studies. I also studied with the help of my parents, who also helped us to maintain our house and our life. Our families were wonderful. Everything was going very well until Michael told me that he had had a strange dream and that it had to do with the stars, something in them. I thought it odd, as Michael had never reported anything like this before, and he wasn't even a lover of the stars. In the days to come, he began to report a lot that he was dreaming of similar things. Always weird dreams that made him feel weird. I didn't see it as something to worry about until I realized it started to affect my husband. I began to observe him tense. As the days went by, he was really different. I asked what was going on, and he said he didn't know and that it was nothing. Even his mother, my mother-in-law, noticed the strange behavior in her son. And the dreams started to get much more frequent. He said it was always the same thing. It started with the stars, and when he went to see it, he was with beings he couldn't identify well and in strange places for him. How often the dreams changed. Michael said it wasn't so strange to dream about that anymore, and that he was already getting used to living like this. That now he could see the beings, and they looked like more different people, with different clothes, different places, including things he couldn't describe. It was changing his personality. He was turning into a different man, and everyone, I repeat, everyone was noticing this huge difference in his manner. My husband was cheerful, happy, full of dreams and plans, super anxious to meet our son. But instead of increasing his happiness, he was strange and almost didn't care about these things. He started talking little to me. He didn't even care about us anymore. He was constantly distracted and started to have the habit of observing the skies and being isolated. I talked to his parents, and we thought it best to seek medical help because that was not normal at all. When we told Michael about the idea of seeing a doctor, he scolded and said he was fine and that we were teasing him. I barely recognized him anymore, and just at the moment I needed him the most. I felt very alone and bad too. It seemed that my husband didn't like me anymore, and I had no idea why. Until one day he was watching the sky, and I went to look with him to see what he was thinking. It was a night when the sky was full of stars. He will like to look at the sky with us, you know? Told him. It's true, I can't wait to meet you. He told me. What so much do you look at the stars? I asked. It's just that here sometimes I get to see them. They who? I asked Michelle. The beings of my dreams. That scared the shit out of me. He told me that he started to be chased in his dreams. At first he thought it was a chase, until he revealed to me that the beings told him that there was a mission he had been summoned, and that at some point he would have to go to fulfill his mission. He also told me that he dreamed many times about operating tables, always with these beings, who he said were with him in his dreams. I found that desperate and asked him to seek help. He then asked me who could help. Everyone was already thinking he was going crazy anyway. I told him he couldn't go, that we had his family, his son, and everyone else here. And he told me he knew all that, and he didn't want to go either. He hugged me, and I could feel what I hadn't felt in a long time. Little did I know that things would get even worse. Michael began to appear with some marks on his body, marks that until then had no explanation, and even he could not say where he went. To me, he said it was the surgeries the beings were doing on him. That terrified me so much. My husband was being persecuted for whatever it was that was making him suffer, and we couldn't do anything. I told his parents everything I knew, and they were also desperate and didn't know what to do. Michael then became increasingly cold and distant from us. I was 8 months pregnant when it happened. Michael, crying at night, woke me up hugging me and saying they were there to get him. At the time I despaired. He left the house and suddenly disappeared. I ran to his parents' house to call them, who came with me. We looked until his father with his hunting dog found him. Michael was in a small clearing of a forest that was nearby. His father was armed with his shotgun. That's when we saw Michael standing, looking at the sky. I started crying along with his mother, asking him to come home. That's when it happened. Michael then pointed to his and asked us to stay away. When we looked in the direction he was pointing, we saw a set of stars. They were different. I don't remember them in that position in the sky. Until they started to move, it was unbelievable to watch that. They began to move more and more into patterns. I was already very scared, crying and screaming for him to go home and get out of there. Until one of the stars stopped moving and began to approach while the others moved. The image still does not leave my head. When it got close, it was a sphere with a lot of light. It seemed to be metallic. When it got close to the ground, it opened a kind of door, and a being came out of it. It was not possible to see details of that being because he was wrapped in a lot of light, so it shone a lot. It even hurt the eyes. He was walking towards Michael, who was standing watching that being approach, until his father fired his gun. That being stopped the shots and then released a kind of noise that we all lost consciousness. When we regained consciousness, there was nothing there. And Michael, my husband, was gone. We started looking everywhere, including with the help of the police. But he had disappeared without a trace. It broke my heart, and soon I had our son. How hard it was to miss him. And he so wanted to meet our son, and not even that happened. We never understood why he went, and not even the reason for all this. The searches never stopped. They never found him, no clues, nothing. Even with the testimony of the family, the local sheriff did not know what to do. He said he would forward the case to the government, but it remained unresolved. Together with our families, I raised our son with much love and longing. It breaks my heart to this day to think that he will never meet his father. Even years and years later, this mystery of his disappearance was never solved. But we in the family know the truth that our Michael was abducted by aliens. Over the years, I researched the world and realized that I was not the only one who went through these experiences. And they all have something in common. They start in dreams until the person disappears. And what we are left with is doubt about what happened to them. If you liked our video, subscribe to the channel. See you later, and until the next video.